crazy power. He's got something weird where he hits guys, they look confused.
The guy just has that look like he's made out of steel.
It's just such an intimidating figure.
Oh, yeah.
Made out, right?
Just stone face. I'm going to kill you.
Is what he's the the power was different. The style was different. It's a weird style. Hands down, weird movement.
He doesn't throw his combos as fluid as some of these other world-class strikers.
Alex Pereira went from a tire shop in Brazil to Glory Kickboxing champion in 2 weight classes simultaneously. Knocked out legends. Became the fastest 2-division champion in UFC history.
Just came into his own, like fighters do. They come into their own, and then they reach this point where they're a champion now.
Yeah.
And he does it in 2 different weight classes simultaneously. He owns 2 weight classes in Glory.
Then he turned the light heavyweight division into his personal hunting ground. But here's the thing. Fighters actively avoid him. Champions duck him. Contenders pray they don't get the call. Here's why the most dangerous striker in MMA makes grown men terrified to fight. São Paulo, 2009. Alex Pereira is 21 years old, works in a tire shop, drinking a liter of alcohol every day going nowhere.
Então, na borracharia, você faz o trampo ali, o cara fica contente, você faz um trampo legal. Pô, cara, eu deixei uma paga lá pra você, entendeu? Aí, paga. Deixar uma paga pra você aí.
Then he walks into a kickboxing gym. Not to become a fighter to survive to escape the addiction killing him. The gym is run by indigenous Brazilians. They teach him kickboxing. They teach him about his Tupi heritage, his ancestors. In the Tupi language, po means hand. Etan means stone. Poatan, stone hand.
Pereira became Poatan, an indigenous word that means hands as hard as rocks, or stone hands.
It was shocking. He would hit guys, boom, and they would hit his slugs. Just then up on the flat line, you're like,
With 10-ounce glove.
fuck, man, he's doing it to everybody. Like, literally everybody he's connecting on is going night-night.
And the nickname wasn't inspirational, it was descriptive. Amateur boxing record, 25 wins, 3 losses, all 25 wins, knockout. One opponent knocked completely out of the ring, another left unconscious before he hit the canvas. The power was unnatural, frightening, real.
Olha esse manzo, né? Ih, alçada de direita, lá dentro,
Alex went on to defend his belt 5 times.
But the style was different. It's a weird style. Like, but super technical, man.
But amateur boxing wasn't enough. Pereira wanted to test himself against the best strikers in the world. So in 2012, he went pro in kickboxing. And that's when the rest of the combat sports world started paying attention. 2017, Glory 46 in China. Pereira fights Simon Marcus for the Glory Middleweight Championship. Wins by decision, then defends the title 5x4 by knockout.
Shit. All for your winner. And still Glory Middleweight Champion of the World, Alex Pereira!
Mais uma, Brasil! Zero, campeão do mundo!
Pereira doesn't stop there. 2019, he moves up to light heavyweight, wins the interim title 3rd round knockout. January 2021, fights Artem Vakitov for the undisputed Glory Light Heavyweight Championship. Wins by unanimous decision, and here's what nobody in combat sports had ever done. Pereira holds both the Glory Middleweight and light heavyweight titles at the same time.
He just came into his own, like fighters do. They come into their own, and then they reach this point where they're a champion now.
Yeah.
And he does it in 2 different weight classes simultaneously. He owns 2 weight classes in Glory.
A simultaneous 2-division Glory champion was historical. It had never been done before.
First fighter in Glory history to be a simultaneous 2-division champion. Kickboxing record, 33 wins, 7 losses, 21 knockouts. But there's one name that changed everything for Pereira. One fighter he faced twice in kickboxing. One victory that would follow him to the UFC. Israel Adesanya, April 2016. Glory of Heroes 1 in China. Adesanya is riding an 11-fight win streak. He's young, fast, the future of kickboxing. Then Pereira beats him by unanimous decision, but that wasn't enough. Because a decision doesn't leave a mark. A decision doesn't create fear.
He watches all my fights, and every time I fight, like clockwork, he'll try and put something out like, I beat this guy.
There's a timeline. You know there's the bad guy, and then there's this ultimate bad guy.
I've never ever watched any of his fights, ever. So at the end of the day, no one knows who the f he is.
And Izzy had to open his mouth.
And he's gonna be that guy when I'm world champion, when I'm a legend. He's gonna be at some pub talking some shit about, I beat that guy one time.
If Izzy just shut the f up, he would have stayed where he was.
So they ran it back March 4th, 2017. Glory of Heroes 7. São Paulo, Brazil. Pereira's home. Third round. Adesanya is fighting well. Technical, evasive. Then Pereira lands a counter left hook. Adesanya crumbles. Face first. Out cold. Oxygen mask. The iconic image that would define both fighters for the next 6 years. Pereira had just knocked out the man who would become UFC middleweight champion. And everyone knew this wasn't luck. This was inevitability. But kickboxing has a ceiling. The real money is in MMA. The real glory is in the UFC. So Pereira made the jump. 2015, jungle fight. 82, MMA debut. Loses via submission. Doubters appeared immediately too one-dimensional. No grappling, he'll get wrestled to death in the UFC. But Pereira kept training. Brazilian jiu-jitsu, wrestling, takedown defense. He fought 4 more times. Won all 4. September 2021. UFC contract signed. And the entire world knew Poatan was coming.
I'd say I'm moving on to MMA. I signed with the UFC. I'll be fighting on Madison Square Garden in New York City on November 6th. I hope I got all you guys' support.
And having that motivation to go in there, especially having somebody tell you, that you were going to be in a bar and stuff, knowing that he's had struggles like that in his past, I'd be pissed off too.
Quis passar que isso é possível. Não, assim, que é possível, entendeu?
November 6th, 2021. UFC 268. Alex Pereira steps into the octagon. Andreas Michailidis takes him down in the first round. Tests his grappling, Pereira survives. And in the second round, flying knee, punches, TKO at 18 seconds. Performance of the night bonus. The message was clear. The knockouts were transferring to MMA, but nobody knew just how fast Pereira would climb or how many champions would fall.
Alex, we have been looking forward to you competing in the UFC for a long time. Congratulations on a spectacular debut. Thank you.
I thought you were lying, bro. I thought you were lying. The whole time, Joe, I'm sitting to your right. I'm like, man, Joe Rogan up in here lying to me, man, telling me this dude, this good.
A lot of people saying he might have the path to Adesanya after their kickboxing background. What were just your general thoughts?
He looked damn good tonight. Got the guy where he needed him, and incredible flying knee.
Most fighters take years to get a title shot. Pereira needed 3 UFC fights. Fight 2, Bruno Silva. Unanimous decision. Pereira showed patience, distance management, fight IQ. Fight 3, Sean Strickland.
Alex is a big, scary fucking Brazilian. I think we all admit that. You're at ATM and this motherfucker walks up behind you middle of the night. You tell me what, you're going to be walking away.
Do you feel like it is a mistake for Sean Strickland to stand with you on Saturday?
Hopefully I could stand and bang with this gigantic, scary fucking Brazilian.
Fight is a really interesting fight because Pereira will oblige him in the stand-up. Yeah. He's going to be like, how does he choose to fight this?
He's not even a good striker, bro. Like, what is Pereira? Like, dude, the only reason to do that is because you're fucking tall.
Official prediction, Sean Strickland versus Alex Pereira. Guys, I'm taking Sean Strickland.
You're genetically gifted. If you were a normal size fucking human being, you wouldn't even fucking be here. Your style sucks.
Well, I'm very prepared for this fight, so whatever it brings, I'm ready. If you want to strike, I'm ready. If you want to grapple, let's do it.
UFC 276, July 2nd, 2022. Strickland is a veteran. Tough, durable. Never been knocked out in the UFC. First round, 1 minute, 18 seconds, left hook. Strickland goes down, Pereira follows with punches. Referee stops it. Performance of the night bonus. Again. And suddenly the fight everyone wanted was unavoidable. Pereira versus Israel Adesanya for the UFC Middleweight Championship. The kickboxing rivalry brought to MMA. The promotion machine kicked into overdrive. November 12th, 2022. UFC 281, Madison Square Garden. Israel Adesanya, the reigning middleweight champion, versus the man who knocked him out in kickboxing.
Adesanya versus Pereira is one of the biggest fights of my life. It's one of the biggest fights of my life.
You're certainly on the champion's radar right now. Israel was talking about you heading into this fight.
A rivalry that began in 2016, and here we are in 2022 with these guys set to square off.
And this TikTok generation has 15-second memory, so they forget. All they see is a knockout.
And these ain't big pillow gloves. These are 4-ounce deadly weapons, and I can't wait to drive that through his face.
Adesanya had never been knocked out in MMA. Pereira had knocked him out once already. The question wasn't if Pereira could do it. The question was whether Adesanya could stop history from repeating. UFC 281, 5 rounds, championship fight. Adesanya fights smart. Distance control, leg kicks, technical boxing. He's winning on the scorecards going into the 5th round. Then he makes a mistake.
Championship medal, though, from Adesanya after a tough round 2 to take control of this fight in rounds 3 and 4.
One of his trainers, I don't know who it was like, "You're losing this fucking fight. You need to knock him out in this round."
Down 3 rounds to 1, this is his last chance.
Com certeza eu achei que eu tava.
Tem 5 minutos pra você ser campeão mundial, Poatan.
Pô, eu falei, agora não tem outra. Eu tenho que ir pra cima. É os 5 rounds da minha vida.
2 minutes, 1 second remaining. Adesanya gets backed up against the cage. Pereira presses forward, lands a jab that rattles him. Then the punches come. Left hand, right hand, left hand. Adesanya covering up, turtling, not fighting back. Referee jumps in, TKO. 2 minutes, 1 second into the 5th round. Alex Pereira, UFC middleweight champion. In just his 4th UFC fight. 7 months after his debut, the fastest rise to a UFC title in the modern era for someone entering the division unranked.
And for Pereira, I mean, that was what a Cinderella story.
It was like straight out of a movie.
It's fucking the game they play.
Incredibly quick rise to the title. In your 5th fight ever in MMA, you are now the undisputed middleweight champion.
Well, Alex, you have a new accessory in amazing time in terms of your UFC career.
But the story gets better, or worse, depending on which side you're on, because Adesanya wanted revenge immediately. April 8th, 2023, UFC 287, Miami, the rematch. And this time, Adesanya was the hunter. He studied the tape, found the solution.
Oh, he said like, "Oh, I don't think he's gonna want an immediate rematch." I'm like, "Fuck, he doesn't know me." Yeah, I'll fight you until I beat you.
Second round, 4 minutes, 21 seconds. Adesanya knocks Pereira out cold, takes back the middleweight title. For most fighters, that would be career-defining. A devastating loss. But Pereira, he just moved up to light heavyweight. July 29th, 2023, UFC 291, Salt Lake City, Pereira's light heavyweight debut against Jan Blachowicz, former champion, elite grappler. The strategy was obvious. Take Pereira down, tire him out, expose his weakness. Round 1. Blachowicz takes him down multiple times, locks in a rear naked choke attempt, controls him on the ground. Pereira survives. Round 2. Pereira keeps it standing, lands strikes, starts to take over. Round 3. Blachowicz is exhausted. Pereira is fresh, cruise control, split decision victory, 29-28, 28-29, 29-28. Not spectacular, but effective. And that's when Dana White made the announcement. The UFC Light Heavyweight Championship is vacant. Jiri Prochazka is healthy. Alex Pereira just beat a former champion.
There was no reasonable world where Alex Pereira won that fight. And that's not Chael's opinion, that's math. He lost rounds 1 and 3.
This is a guy who was a former champion. It was a war, and I was able to show it.
Super fucking impressive. He won a way no one thought he would win. I bet the odds of Alex Pereira winning a decision weren't very high.
Fight for the belt. November 11th, 2023, UFC 295, Madison Square Garden, the place where Pereira became middleweight champion.
UFC 295 is from Madison Square Garden, and Alex Pereira will face the former champion Jiri Prochazka.
This is the first fight back for Prochazka since he suffered that brutal shoulder injury, Dom.
He had sustained the worst shoulder injury that they had ever seen.
This is a tough one to come back to.
If I was to tell you a year ago these two are going to fight, you're going to have Jiri Prochazka as a meaningful favorite.
Now he's fighting for a second belt in a heavier weight class. After losing his first title just 7 months ago. Nobody does this. Nobody. UFC 295. Jiri Prochazka, vacant light heavyweight title.
Can Pereira stop all the grappling that he's going to bring to the table? He really is an unconventional grappler, and he mixes it well. Whereas Pereira, we know what he's going to do. He's going to look to knock you out. He's not taking you down. He's not mixing that up.
So I think it's going to be tough for him. I think Jiri is a heavyweight that comes down to light heavyweight, whereas Alex is obviously a former middleweight.
Jiri Prochazka gets the job done. I think he can stand with him. I think he can take his best shots. And I think he has the ability to knock him down as well and to knock him out.
First round, competitive. Prochazka lands a takedown. Pereira gets back up. Second round, Pereira backs Prochazka to the cage. Lands a left hook. Prochazka drops. Pereira jumps into mount. Punches, elbows. Referee stops it at 4 minutes. 8 seconds of round 2. Alex Pereira, 2-division UFC champion in his 7th UFC fight. Fastest to 2-division champion in UFC history. Nobody had ever held both the middleweight and light heavyweight UFC titles until now. But speed doesn't create fear, dominance does. And what Pereira did next turned him from champion into boogeyman. UFC 300, April 13th, 2024. Las Vegas, the biggest card of the year. All Hill, former champion, confident, talking, first round. Halfway through, Pereira lands the left hook. Hill goes down, out, unconscious. Then Pereira does something nobody expected. He mocks him, does an internet meme celebration, starts a chant. Chama, statement made, title defended. 2 months later, UFC 303, June 29th, 2024. Conor McGregor withdraws with a broken toe. The biggest UFC card of the summer loses its main event. Dana White needs a replacement on 2 weeks' notice. Pereira says yes. UFC 303, Jiri Prochazka rematch. 13 seconds into the second round, head kick. Prochazka crumbles, ground and pound. Referee stops it. Second title defense, same opponent, faster knockout. And then the unthinkable happens. Pereira fights again 3 months later. UFC 307, October 5th, 2024. Salt Lake City, Khalil Roundtree Jr. Number 8 ranked. Underdog? Critics say he doesn't deserve the shot. He proves them wrong. Roundtree comes to fight. First round, second round. He's landing, hurting Pereira. This isn't supposed to happen. Champions don't struggle with number 8 ranked fighters, but Pereira stays patient. And in championship fights, patience is the weapon nobody sees coming. UFC 307, 4th round. Roundtree is tired, swinging, desperate. Pereira is calculating, waiting, then he moves forward. Right hand to the head. Roundtree stumbles. Pereira switches targets. Body shot, uppercut, body combination, vicious, brutal. Roundtree sinks to the canvas. 4 minutes, 32 seconds. TKO.
Declare the winner by TKO and still!
Third successful title defense in 6 months. Pereira fought 3 times in 2024 alone. All title defenses, all finishes. But here's where it gets interesting. Magomed Ankalaev, number 2 ranked, elite wrestler, calling for a title shot for years. March 2025, UFC 313, Pereira versus Ankalaev. And for the first time, someone solves the Pereira puzzle. Ankalaev uses clinch control, wrestling, pressure, takes Pereira out of his striking range. Unanimous decision, 48-47, 47-48, Ankalaev wins, new champion. The first person to beat Pereira at light heavyweight. The blueprint is revealed. Don't strike with him. Grapple, clinch, survive. But here's the problem with blueprints. You still have to execute them. October 4th, 2025, UFC 320. Las Vegas, the rematch. Everyone expects the same fight. Ankalaev grinding, Pereira surviving. Maybe another decision. That's not what happened. UFC 3x20. First round. Pereira doesn't wait, doesn't circle, doesn't respect Ankalaev's wrestling. He marches forward. Calf kicks, jab, pressure. Ankalaev shoots for a takedown. Pereira defends. Backs him to the cage. Then, right hand, clean, thunderous. Ankalaev drops. Pereira jumps on him. Punches, elbows, blood. Referee. Herb Dean stops it.
Look at this. Deep just to the body. That sucks so bad. Magomed had no chance. There was no way he was going to get out of that.
1 minute, 20 seconds into round 1. Alex Pereira, light heavyweight champion. Again, 3-time UFC title holder. 7 championship victories and 10 UFC wins. Only the 3rd person in UFC history to win the light heavyweight title twice. And here's what nobody talks about. Pereira is 38 years old. He's been fighting professionally since 2012. He's absorbed damage in Glory Kickboxing. He's been knocked out, submitted, taken down. But when he stands across from you in the octagon, none of that matters. Because you know the left hook is coming. You've studied the tape. You've drilled the defense. Your coaches have prepared you. And it still lands. That's why fighters fear Alex Pereira. Not because he's unbeatable. He lost to Adesanya. He lost to Ankalaev. But because when he wins, you don't just lose, you get erased, knocked unconscious, carried out on a stretcher, turned into a highlight reel, a cautionary tale. And every fighter in the light heavyweight division knows, if you fight Pereira, you're not fighting for a belt. You're fighting for survival. From a tire shop in São Paulo to 2-division UFC champion. From alcoholic to stonehand. From kickboxing legend to MMA terror. Alex Pereira didn't just climb to the top. He made everyone terrified to follow him there. But he's not the only fighter who turned fear into dominance. Khabib Nurmagomedov went 29-0 and made champions quit. In the next video, you'll understand how the Eagle broke the lightweight division